Welcome back to the Venom Workshop. So today I'm going to show you how to change the ignition on this Roma scooter. It's not terrible, tough to do. We're just going to need a few little easy tools. Phillips screwdriver is going to be our biggest tool that we're going to need. So I'm going to grab that and get set up here, get the camera set up. And there is going to be little push pins in here. This one they're missing. And I just didn't replace them because this is our shop one, but you just pull the push pin out when we do that, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You'll see that on this side it has it, and I'll show you how to get those out of there. And then we're going to take this front piece off so we can get to the ignition on the back of this. So I'm going to get started here, and I'm going to get my camera in place and the screwdriver, and I'll be right back. So we're going to start up at the top here. I'm going to start taking out all of these Phillips screws. And I'm going to go all the way down. I know I'm probably lower than you can see right now, but they all have to come out, all these screws, all the way down here. And one here. Okay, then there's two in the front, two that you're going to want to remove, and they are right here. So now you can do the other side. It's going to be the exact same as the one side, so I really don't have to show you how I take out every screw. I think these are going to be the exact same. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my screws, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this one is the one I was talking about, and it can be a little screw like this, or it can be just a plastic push in. So if it's a little screw like this, you just get your finger underneath it and lift up while you're screwing, and it'll come out. Then once it gets to a certain way, you can just pop it right out like that in your hand. Throw it down with our bolts and nuts and stuff. I'm gonna pull this one out right here. So the whole front end, that little piece of fairing is ready to come off. So to take it off, what you want to do is just go up here with your hands, give it a pull towards you like that. Just work your way down, just popping the tabs out. Don't pull too hard or you'll break them. So just kind of give it a little wiggle and like that. And there we go, come right out. So now we're going to be removing this fairing too. Now it can either have bolts in here or it can have these screws. This one has 5mm Allen bolts in it. But sometimes they might have a Phillips screw in there like that. So we're going to go ahead and take that out. Just like that. Now, just to take this out, give it a little pull like that. And then you can start working it out on the sides because it's clipped in on the sides. So just kind of work down like that. There we go. And I'm going to do the same on the other side, just like that. Then I'm just going to disconnect my lights. Oop, forgot one. Okay. I'm going to take that off like that. Set it off to the side too. And now we can get to our ignition. So our ignition is right here. So I'm going to teach you how to take that out. And once we get the ignition out, we'll change it. I'll show you how to change it too. So I'm just going to get the tools I need to do that, and I'll be right back. So all you're going to need here is, right now, is a Phillips screwdriver to take this screw out. I'm going to get a snubby. That's a screwdriver too long. And like this one might have a screw where yours has a bolt. Sometimes they change stuff like that on us and they don't really tell us. Okay. Okay, you're going to want to remove your key as well. And then there's this little cap. We can remove that. Oh. Wow, that is on there. I'm going to get another screwdriver to try to turn that. That's very moving, very easy. See if we can tap it. All right. There we go. So tapping it. So sometimes steel going into soft metal, hitting a tap like that helps a lot. There we go. Get that there. And this cap comes right off of there. We can put that cap back on in a minute. And that screw is going to be a little bit tougher to get to. It's way back in there. Excuse me. So I'm going to have to get something different, or I'm going to have to pull this back a little bit first before I take the ignition off. I just want to take a look at it here real quick, and I will be right back. All right, so what we're gonna have to do is this number 10 right here, we're gonna have to take it out too, so that we can let that fairing fall back a bit. Just like that. So I can get to the back of that with my screwdriver. So just give me one sec. Whew. Okay, It is really warm here today. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put my snubby screwdriver in there, give it a twist. There we go. And I get that screw out. Almost. There we go. So that is our ignition right there. So all you'd need to do is you're gonna need to unplug it from the ignition plug and take, this is the seat lock cable. Oh, and I have to hit that a tap too. Just give me 1 sec. Okay, so I did get my screw to move, but what I had to do was, this screw, if it jams, you don't really have to worry about it. As long as you can peel this plate up and get this off, you do get a new screw with your new ignition. I had to cut a line into mine just to make it move, but I got it to move. So I'm going to show you how to take the cable off. Just like that. So we're going to take our screw off. Then our cable just goes like that and moves up and out of that little channel. And to put it back in, it's the same thing. I'll show you guys in a sec. I just want to give it a pull out. And then we can put it in there like that. And that's how it goes in. Just like that. Just slips into that little channel like that. So when you get your new ignition, it's going to come looking just like this. This plate will be with it. And it just screws off of this. Or does it have to pull off? It actually just pulls off of there. We don't have to pull that off. So you get your ignition just like this. So now to put it back together, all you're going to do, if you move that plate out of the way for a sec. Put in a little hole, slide it over. Oh. You don't want it to turn, you want it to be like that. And just like that. And we flip our plate around like this. Like I said, you will get a new screw for going into there. I have to use the old screw because I'm not changing this ignition. I'm just showing you guys how to do it. Just gonna get my screwdriver. A lot easier. Here we go. So we'll go ahead, we'll put that back in. Okay, our seat lock's back in place. Now this is your handlebar lock, and it goes in the little hole here. When you put it in, it slides in there like that. And then we can put our 2 screws in. I'm going to put the inside one in first. I'm just going to pull that cable up. Like I said, I'm going to put the inside one in first. You can go ahead and put your plug together here. There you go. Slide this boot forward so it doesn't get wet. And then we can put our first bolt in. I'm just going to go ahead and put this one in finger tight. I'm just going to put it in a little bit tighter, but I'm not going to tighten it up all the way. just want to screw it in. I'm gonna get the other one started. And like I said, you can just pull your fairing back a bit. Okay, that one's tight. I'm gonna tighten this one up. Just like that. Now your cable, usually, I just zip it up like this so it's out of the way. And then we're gonna go to the front. We're gonna put our 10 mil back in. And our 10 mil came right out of here. So we're gonna put that back in. There we go. There we go. Put that closed. Now, next what we're going to put in is our ignition cap right here. And we're going to put it in through here, but it has to line up with where that screw goes on the back there. And make sure that your rubber is right underneath so it stays when we tighten it down. There we go. Okay, so now we take our Phillips again, and we go ahead and put this one back in. Like that. There we go. So now our ignition's all back together. We can go ahead and put our keys back in. There we go. I locked that little thing. All right, put our keys back in. Try to start it. Oh, battery's completely dead. We left the key on. But the horn works, so we know the key works. So now what we need to do is put our fairing back on. So our first fairing, back here, like that. Okay, and now, there it is. So this fairing, what you want to do is make sure that you get these tabs down in the bottom so they line up with that hole right here. So we're going to do that. And before we go too far with doing that, we're going to hook up our lights. So let's come right over here, and you can look down inside here while I hook all my wires up. Sorry, I just want to get the camera better. There we go. All right. So the orange and green go to orange and green. the big blue and white go to the big one. Oops, there it is. So blue and green go to blue and green. And then the two green and yellow go to the upper lights at the top. There we go, and that's it. Now we just work it forward and make sure it goes into the place on the bottom that I was telling you about. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to put it right like that. Just gonna this is the important part. Just lining up these tabs right here. And at the top. And there we go. That side's all in. And do the same on the other side. There we go. All right. So now that we got that done, I'm going to come back up to the front. And we're going to put the two bolts in there. You know, wait till you get my other bolt in to tighten that up. Okay, the other one. Okay, and now we just have to put the front fairing on, and then we can put the rest of the screws back in. Now to push this back in, I'm going to lift you up. There we go. What you want to do is take this, you want to line up the top with the front, or the top where the handlebars are, and you want these to slip in. So it'll pop like that, go like that. There we go, and they all snapped in. That's good. Now we can pop this out. It's popped out on us a bit. And we can come down to the bottom now and put our screw in. So right here, so I want to grab my screwdriver. And that's one of the bigger screws. You're going to notice there's some bigger and smaller screws. That's a bigger one. There we go. Now, these two are small screws. This is another small screw that goes into this one. The front one right here is a larger screw. And these top ones right here and right here are also larger screws. There we go. in here. Then your little push tab, the little plastic push tab. You just put it in like that and push down. It holds that in place like that. And then all you have to do now is the exact same as this side, how I just put these screws in. You have to put your screws in on the other side, and that's it. So that, guys, is how you change the ignition on a 50cc Roma scooter.